welcome to our latest edition. I'm State Senator Jim Welch. Welcome to our latest edition of Wednesdays with Welch, where we try and put together some informational videos for people that are watching at home to kind of see how, in this case, how professionals like the Lions Club, who I have my good friends here, John LaDue and John Sullivan, Sully, from the West Springfield Lions Club. And today we're going to give tips about cooking on a grill. Obviously, we're getting to that time, and it's already really been that time throughout the summer where people cook on the grill. And one thing I always had an issue with was knowing when the steak was done and knowing how to cook meat to the temperature that I like it. I like mine medium rare. I know other people like their steaks well done or medium. How do you know when it's at the point where you like it? So I invited these two gentlemen. They volunteer with the Lions Club. And the other thing about today's show is we're going to highlight a lot of the things that the Lions Club does here in West Springfield. A tremendous service organization that works very hard to make sure that so many activities and events in West Springfield go off without a hitch. And you've probably seen them at different events with their yellow aprons, but you may not have known exactly what their organization does. So John Sullivan, Sully, John LaDue from the Lions Club, and we're going to turn it over to Sully here and John, and they're going to turn the grill on and show you the tips from beginning to end, from turning the grill on to cooking the meat, and then how long do you let it sit, and how do you test what temperature it is, or if it's cooked the way you want it without having to cut into the steak, which is always something that I've tried to learn how to do. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to Sully to turn on the grill. How do you do it safely?
Well, first of all, thank you, Senator, on behalf of the Lions Club for having us.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. What we're going to do is we leave the cover up, turn it on. Let it warm up a little bit. You might have to hit that again. There we go. It's on.
Yep. And then this one.
So at home, I have a grill similar to this where you turn the gas on, you let the gas kind of warm up a little bit, and then you press a button and it all comes up. Everybody has a different style grill. Some people cook obviously with charcoal. This is a gas grill. And they started it up. Now they're going to let it warm up a little bit. It's a Weber grill. I know many people use the Weber grill at home as well. So as we're letting it warm up, what type of temperature do you like to get it to? If you're going to cook a steak, what temperature do you want to get it to the grill to let it warm up?
It's about 325, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
If you're looking for medium rare, it's 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Medium is 5 to 7 minutes, and then well done is up to 8-9 minutes is what I usually do.
I'm going to season it. So, John, just tell them. So, on a steak, right?
Right, a little salt. You want to put both sides. A little pepper. Now, some people like to put kosher salt on these and let them sit for about an hour. Some people like to let them sit for a couple of hours in your refrigerator to let the salt get in there and let it break down the fat a little bit, give it a little more of a taste quality to it. That's all in your own preference.
Now you mentioned the refrigerator, and I know some people say, I've read different places, let the meat warm up to room temperature before you put it on the grill. Some people, cook it right out of the refrigerator. I've done both. Do you have a preference, or do you think one way is better than the other?
You should pull it out, right? And so it doesn't stick to the grill, right? Because something cold on a hot grill.
Yeah, right.
Right. So you want to make sure to let it sit out for a little bit.
Okay.
Not in the direct hot sun, but like that.
Try and get it to warm up a little bit to natural temperature.
I would say no more than an hour. I never let my sit out more than an hour.
So, and these steaks are from our good friends at the Old Butcher Shop in West Springfield, always providing great quality meats and other types of food for West Springfield residents throughout the years.
And what you're looking for on a steak, if you want to say, is just you need some fat, right?
Yeah.
Everybody likes to get a lean piece of meat,
Right.
but as you cook it, right, that's what makes it tender is when the fat comes down, right, and gets cooked in. So
Right. So those white lines are fatty type or pieces of fat, marbling they call it, right? So
Yes.
and
It's
that
still
gives
warming
it
up a little bit.
that helps gives it some of the taste, which is what we're all looking for. So these are ribeye steaks, and what would you say they're about less than just 3/4 of an inch thick, maybe?
3/4 of an inch.
Yeah. So we got some hamburgers too that we'll obviously throw on there as well.
Great pieces of meat.
Hamburgers, I've always, with hamburgers, I like mine medium rare, but usually when I'm cooking hamburgers, I'm cooking them for the whole family. So I typically, try and cook them all to medium to make sure that everyone, not everyone likes their hamburgers medium rare. But the key to a hamburger,
A little more.
or what I've always wondered about hamburgers, sometimes you see it, 90% lean, 85% lean, whatever, 80% lean. And that's all, those percentages basically are telling you how much fat is in the meat, right?
Yeah.
So,
and we like to use the 80-20,
yep,
right, to get a little fat content in there.
yep,
Exactly.
some flavor.
And so it gives a little flavor. So 80-20s are usually, and the other key is when you're cooking is not to keep touching, not to keep flipping it, right? Let the grill do its job, right? Just and cook slow. It's not a quick process. Want to put those on?
You want the steaks? You want them all on together?
Yeah,
gentlemen?
sure.
And that's a good point. That's one thing I'm definitely guilty of. When I'm cooking my meat, I get a little anxious. So I'll try and take a sneak peek at one side to make sure it's not, getting burned on the outside. But I know that's not the best way to cook. You want to try and let it go and be confident in what you're doing. That's really the big component to it.
Because if you pull it up too soon, right, it sticks.
Yep.
Right. So you want to let it cook.
So all they put on was, it's very simple: pepper, salt on both sides of the steaks.
Yes.
And just placed it on a grill that is heated up to about 325 degrees. And we got 4 hamburgers on there. Maybe we cook a couple with cheese, a couple without, because that's always an art in itself, trying to put the cheese on while the burger's cooking to the point where it melts perfectly, but it doesn't overcook the cheese. So when we put the steak on, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I know many people have probably heard that a way to test, how well or what temperature your steak is cooked to by using this kind of like fatty part of your hand here. And you want, if medium rare, is that medium rare?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Medium rare.
So
the firmer the steak, the more well done it is. Right. So that's it.
So we're gonna let the meat cook a little bit. Now, one thing I always questioned to myself was, do I close the hood and let it cook, or do I leave the hood open?
You can close it. If you want to get a nice char on both of these real quick, you can char them up and get that nice taste to it.
Yeah.
And then you could open up your cover, and then you could watch and feel for it the inside. It's the inside temperature that is the key to this.
Yeah.
So you can close it. You can get a char on it.
Yeah.
Hamburgers, you'll see when it starts the red starts to come up on each side of these, you will know that it's time to flip them. And if it comes up again, on the other side, it's more of a medium rare to medium, and then you can take them off. Don't forget, you have to let these rest too.
Oh, after you cook them,
because they're going to continue to cook. So that's the key. So I'm going to drop this on it a little bit and let it warm up.
All right, and that'd be a good time, I think, for us to talk a little bit about the Lions Club and what the Lions Club does here in West Springfield and really throughout Western Massachusetts. And I'm sure many people at home have seen members of the Lions Club. You recognize the yellow aprons. Pretty much any civic event or community event that you go to in West Springfield, it's very rare that you don't see members of the Lions Club volunteering. And I wanted to just take a minute and just talk a little bit about what is the Lions Club, how does it, what is its mission, so to speak, and why, why are you guys so involved in the West Springfield community? I guess not that that's a bad thing; it's a great thing, obviously.
Well, I believe it was 1927, 29 that Helen Keller challenged the Lions to be Knights of the Blind.
Okay.
So that's kind of where things had taken off from there. And our mission is to take care of people who are in need, classes, whatever their causes are. But we do a lot of fundraising for the Mass Eye research. That's where a lot of the funds are being spent to look for different cures for different diseases or operations that people will need. So, there's no child should be left, or person should be left without
eyesight,
help.
Right?
Can you tell about the collections? Two places we have them in town.
Oh yes, we started the eye collection. I believe it was probably 3-4 years ago, and we have 2 mailboxes. One up at the Classic Burger for eyeglass drop-off, and one down at the town hall down in the center. Big yellow mailboxes look just like this apron.
Really? Okay.
You can't miss it.
Now, is it for used glasses or
used glasses?
Oh, okay.
Don't throw them away. Please donate them. They are recycled. There's a couple in, I think it's Southampton, that reads them, cleans them, and ships them out. A lot of them go to third world countries, and a lot of them will go to like Boston, where they'll take them for a need. So,
and it doesn't matter what type of glasses. It can be prescription. They can be,
prescription glasses. Yep.
Okay, prescription glasses,
readers, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you have leftover or glasses that you're no longer using at home, perfect opportunity to make a donation would be at one of the locations. One at Classic Burger in West Springfield, and the other, did you say, was at Town Hall?
Town Hall, right in on the left.
Right in on the left in the lobby. So,
If you pick one of those up, Johnny, show them how it's split. That's a great time to flip it.
So when you see the red juices come up, I don't know if you can see that. This is the time you want to flip it. And then you can wait for the juices to come up on the other side.
it's got those nice marks on it. I never cook any of my burgers that I cook. I never get those nice grill marks on it, but that one has a nice grill mark on it.
Well, again, if you leave it down and you know to pick it up after a few minutes and you won't burn it. But again, it has a beautiful red to it.
Yep.
Flip it over.
We're halfway there.
Yep. When the red starts to come through.
Now I noticed on the burgers you didn't put any salt or pepper.
No, you won't need them.
Don't need it.
It's the fat content on it.
Yeah.
80.
That's because most people load it up with ketchup or
Relish, mustard.
right? So, and a salad usually on top of it, right? So
Well.
I don't eat a lot of salad because I think it's burger toppings.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Well, everyone likes their burger different ways. There's no question about that. But
I'm going to flip the steaks because I like the
Okay.
char on the on this side, just so I can get it with that
oh yeah,
beautiful char on it.
can you see that char? Can you hold it up so you can
hold it up with the
see?
tongs.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hot.
This is usually the point in time where I get my mouth starts getting a little watering quite a bit, and I want to take the steak off and start eating it, but I know it still has to cook a few more minutes, but
If you could smell it, it smells good.
it smells good. This is a good steak. Again, got these at the butcher shop and right on Boulevard in West Springfield here today. They always have great quality meat. So,
Yeah, they do.
But and another thing, while we're letting the beef cook again, we're down at the grounds at the Big E, the Eastern States Exposition. If you're from West Springfield, you're probably well aware of the Lions Club restaurant here on the grounds of the Big E, serving food throughout the course of the Big E every year. Now, I would imagine that is a fundraiser for your organization in some respects, and
Absolutely.
And that's our biggest one,
Yeah.
right? That as well aware, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just they come. So that's our biggest um, event. And right now where we are, where it's up in the air and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of other organizations that rely on us to get back to them,
Okay.
and the only way we can do that is with the Big E, right? The money that's raised here, everything goes back into all our programs that we do at other places. So it's kind of a we're like in that point where everybody is, right? Do we want the Big E to happen? We don't want the Big E to happen. We'd like it to happen. We'd like to just because we need it financially, but at the same time, we got to make sure everybody's safe, like we are today.
Of course,
right?
yeah. Well, that's the other thing is you notice we're all wearing gloves. We have our masks on. Certainly adhering to guidelines. Now, a little bit
What's up
about
with the flags, John?
the yeah. So some of the other things that the Lions Club does, if you've driven by the town common over the last few years at certain times, you've noticed many flags. How many flags this year?
So it was 600.
600 flags.
Yes.
600 flags flying on the town common. It's just an absolutely beautiful sight. Makes you proud to be an American. It makes you proud to be from West Springfield. And all of that effort has been organized by the Lions Club over the past few years. And John, did you want to take a minute just to talk about that? I guess it's a fundraiser, right? Or it's a way to honor obviously our veterans, and at the same time, it's a great thing for the community.
First, it's a way to honor the vets.
Right.
And then second, it's our fundraiser. We give out scholarships to any kids or grandkids from somebody who served in the military, correct?
Yeah, their parent or grandparent.
Parent or grandparent. And I believe we gave 20 away this past month.
Okay. Wow.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to have our dinner and
I bet,
awards,
yeah.
but I had the pleasure of calling half of the kids
Oh, that's great.
this year, and it was such a delight. It was a joy because to listen to these kids
Yeah.
get this, and
Especially this year when the seniors in high school are missing out on a lot of or have missed out on a lot of the normal events that each class usually goes through.
Right.
To be able to make those calls to those students was probably extra special this year. So how are we looking on the?
We had the joy of having some of the veterans from the Soldier Song come down.
Oh, really? Okay.
At the closing ceremony.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it was such a delight to sit at this table with these gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
And to have them say, how do we deserve to be here? Well, to us, you deserve to be here because of your sacrifices, the men and women currently.
The greatest generation, no question about it.
I'm gonna sneak in here.
Yes, these are ready.
So one thing that I
These are
do
definitely
when I
ready.
put cheese on a burger is usually put it on and then it's all over the grill. So what I like to do is pull the corners off the cheese. So your cheese ends up like this. Then when you put it on
Oh,
and it melts, you get a little extra cheese on it, and it won't melt all over your grill.
Right.
So it's a great way to get a nice cheeseburger, a nice chunk of cheese on it,
nice.
and do it that way. And you don't have cheese on your grill. So
So I have to say that I'll do that at home every once in a while, but the cheese that I cut off doesn't make it on the burger. I typically put it right in my mouth. So
But that's the way it's supposed to be. These two are ready. They just have to rest the 2 hamburgers. Did you want to put another piece of cheese on with
yeah.
the 2 cheeseburgers?
So
pull them off.
back to the flags a little bit while we're cooking. 600 flags this year. Obviously a huge increase over last year and a huge increase over the first year started. I think if I remember, the first year was
300.
Was
Right,
300, so
yeah.
doubled. Okay.
So it's been really good for us in the community. People see it, and then the scholarship. And typically when we have the dinner, to give them the scholarship, they can bring their parent if they're a veteran or their grandparent. And as John said about the kids, but the people who come, the grandparents, especially grandparents, if they get the scholarship because of their grandfather, they are so excited because that's the only reason they got the scholarship.
Right.
It wasn't academically or anything. It was based on having a veteran in your life, right? So that has been very good. And the flags that people buy the flag, in honor of a veteran. There's a tag on it with the veteran's name, and if you buy a flag, you get that flag back at the end, right? So it's a keepsake. The Boy Scouts help us in town, and they fold the flag in the triangle and present it back, and it's a really moving ceremony, and just it's just really great, right? So it's been a home run for us, and, probably a great thing for us, right? Because it's helps us stay out when the Big E's not on.
It's a humbling experience.
This year, though, you might know if you're in town driving on Elm Street, you might see some banners. So the banners are on Elm Street, and again, they're all local residents. West Springfield, the city has really partnered with us with this, and we honor them. And again, it's a donation. The banners are going to be up till Veterans Day, and then you get that. So this is what it started with, the flags, and now we've gone to banners where you actually see the face of the veteran, and it brings it to life. It brings the meaning, and you can put two and two together. It's really great.
It's really, when you look at them, they just look very classy, and classy in appearance, and then classy in a way that a community supports and remembers their veterans for the sacrifices that they've made. So I can't thank you guys enough for coordinating this effort, driving down Elm Street, and I'm sure many people go to the post office or they go to the bank or whatever have you. Make sure you look up on the pole. They're hard not to see because they are very good, and they stick out great. But if you're interested, how could somebody sponsor one?
If you want to sponsor one, you can go to westspringfieldlionsclub.org. The information's there. You can go to our Facebook page, West Springfield Lions Club, or you can contact me directly, and that information's on our Facebook page. So we will do everything we can to help you, and it's just been a great tribute for us, and to hear some of the stories that you probably hear just in your job, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Every day, right? That we don't get to hear. So it's a home run. And I think Sully's got the steaks. Here we go.
Looks like we got some steaks. Need a plate, Sully? Or do you want to put them in here?
Let's put them in here.
Yeah.
Put it right there.
Well, that's that one.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at that. So,
Ooh, very nice.
Got to let them rest.
Let them sit for a little bit.
so if you see, right, these are probably around this medium, a little maybe medium well. It's a little harder here because we were talking. but
Sorry.
That's why you don't want to cut it, right? Because if we had cut it now, the juices would just be coming out, and we don't want to do that. Now it's just great to have and sit and relax, and just like you would, just to get ready. You can get your sides done, fix your plate, and then go grab your steak, and you're done.
Now, how long it's personal preference how long you let it sit, but
It can be anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. It's a personal preference. Depends on how big your steak is.
Yep.
You will probably start to see it run a little bit when it's a little rarer.
Yep.
But it will cook. It will continue to cook a little more.
And you can tent it with foil.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, and that'll keep a lot
And that'll
of
keep it right there until you're ready, nice and hot.
So, well, that was easy peasy. I know it's not easy for all of us at home when we do it, but that's a good point. Maybe we show the inside of the burger. Yeah, that's cooked perfect, right? You're not going to get many complaints with it cooked like that.
I'm not going to let it rest a little bit. So just for
There you go.
That's a medium,
Yep.
and this should be hopefully red in the middle.
Yeah, nice little pink there, red. Yeah, that's my style right there.
And here's your medium. Medium is this color. It's a little over medium, but again, we were chatting.
Chit chatting. But when so people who like theirs medium rare or even rare, what are some things you got to watch out for? I mean, you can cook it too little too, right?
Raw meat is not good consumption. It can make you very sick.
Right.
I don't recommend eating it rare. My father was in the military, and that's all he did is eat rare.
Right.
Until the day he passed away, it was rare. I usually cook mine at home to this medium rare.
Yeah.
About 140 degrees, right? You want to make sure the
Inside
temperature is
temperature.
about
Right.
140,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You want to make sure it's safe, right? And
About
so,
135 for medium rare to 140. It's 3 to 5 minutes on per side.
So, well, like I said, that looked easy. It's not always easy to pull it off in a way that not only do they look good, but they taste good. That's always the important. Now, I'm going to ask a controversial question. A1 steak sauce or any sauce that goes along with it, or do you eat it the way it is?
I eat it the way it is.
All right.
I'm a steak sauce and really sautéed onions guy.
Oh, really? Right on the
Right
steak.
on the
Peppers,
steak.
onions
Yeah,
is
on
good.
the side, and the steak sauce on the side, right? If you on the side, I don't put it on the steak, but just to dip it in a little bit.
Yeah.
How about you?
If I cook it right, it's got enough juices for me to kind of
Right.
swirl it around. Sometimes if I cook it a little bit over, a little bit more medium or more towards the well done side, I'll maybe bring out a little steak sauce. But I like the onions too. And the best, I should have brought some onions down to cook on the grill. You can cook those right on the grill if you get a nice little a pan like this or something like that.
Yep.
Just throw a little whatever seasoning you want on there, and they cook perfectly right alongside the steak.
You could do everything in the grill you do inside,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? From cooking potatoes, if you wanted to have a baked potato with it, you could have put that on the grill.
Yep.
Right, we could have baked potato and steak and everything just done outside. You're having a great time, socializing like we are today, having a conversation.
And try a pizza on a grill.
I was just going to say that. I cooked a
Unbelievable.
pizza on a grill the other day.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was an interesting taste. Interesting taste. So it was good. It was good. It was perfect, and it was nice because it gave it a nice little. I like it a little crispy on top
Around the
and on
edges,
the
yep.
side. Oh,
Nice.
it's perfect.
Yep.
So, well, gentlemen, I want to thank you one for your commitment and your work in the community on behalf of the Lions Club. The people of West Springfield are very fortunate to have such a tremendous organization that week in and week out is always participating in community events. And when we need an organization to step up, whether it's to cook some hamburgers or to pancakes or steaks or hot dogs, but that's not all they do. They do so much more in the community. As you can see, we talked about the flags on the town common. We talked about the banners that you're seeing now on Elm Street in downtown in West Springfield. Now, what if someone wants to volunteer for the Lions Club? They're not part of the organization, but maybe they want to join. What's the best way to get in touch? And are there any qualifications that they have to meet?
Well, what you want to do is you either can call down to Den,
Yeah.
or I'm the membership director, and get a hold of me,
Mhm.
and then we give you an application,
All right.
do a quick screening on it, and
Gotcha.
we have a board of directors meeting, talk about it. I think we're up to 70 members now.
72.
That's great.
Um,
And we'll-
John is our new incoming president.
oh,
He
congratulations.
just took over the reins.
Congratulations.
And it's easy when you have a great group of people,
Yeah.
right? The people make it easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, any event that we're at, if you would like to be a member, just say, hey, I'm interested in joining.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
we have applications there all the time, and we're always looking for new members. And yeah,
And we'll put information up on the screen that'll show maybe just a phone number or website or
website,
email
perfect.
or whatever
Yep.
that
sure.
people
Okay.
can reach out to.
Appreciate
So,
Check us out on Facebook. You can
Facebook.
get a hold of us on Facebook, and
Yep.
I'll respond.
yep.
John will respond.
So, well, that's great. Again, great group of people in West Springfield, the Lions Club that does tremendous work. Well, I grew up in the same neighborhood as Ed Smart. So Ed, to me, is a gentleman that I looked up to in my, in the neighborhood, in the community, and as I started to get older in life, and started to get involved a little bit more, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing Ed Smart participating in some sort of community event.
Yeah.
He was
always
the face
behind
of the
the
Lions
yeah,
Club.
but always behind the scenes too.
Yes. He was my Cub Scout
Was
leader
he
when I
really?
was
Yeah.
just a little guy.
Just a great guy. And
He's the reason I'm in the club was
Is he?
because of Eddie.
Yeah.
We were neighbors, and yeah, Eddie is fantastic, and we miss him really.
Miss him
Yeah.
dearly.
dearly, so.
well, it's just he's a perfect example of the type of person who, is dedicated to the community, or was dedicated to the community and dedicated to the Lions Club. And gentlemen, I just want to thank you for participating in this today. Hopefully those of you at home, we showed you a little bit of tips on how to cook a steak the right way. But more than anything, I think it's important to recognize our community organizations in West Springfield, and one of the best, if not the best, community organization in West Springfield that does tremendous work is the Lions Club. So if you see them out somewhere, thank them. If you see them out somewhere and you want to volunteer, grab one of them and ask them how you can get involved. So, gentlemen, again, thank you very
for
much.
having us,
for having
Senator.
us.
And those of you watching at home, we'll see you next time.